I know, it's waiting until 5 o'clock.
Oh.
I have 4:59 on mine, so. There we go. All right, it's 5 o'clock. I'll open up the regular meeting of the Mendocino Unified School District Board of Trustees. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Oatney. Trustee Morton.
Here?
Trustee Griffin.
Here.
Trustee Ohm.
Here.
Trustee Boyd.
Here.
Trustee Schaefer.
Present. We have nothing to report out of closed session. So are there any changes to the agenda, or does someone want to make a move to approve the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Trustee Morton.
Yes?
Trustee Griffin.
Yes.
Trustee Ohm.
Yes.
Trustee Boyd.
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer.
Yes. And then we need a vote on the consent calendar. Would someone make a motion, please?
I'll move to approve the consent agenda.
Second?
Please call the roll.
Trustee Morton.
Yes.
Trustee Griffin.
Yes.
Trustee Ohm.
Yes.
Trustee Boyd.
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer.
Yes. Hey, Max.
Hey. Are we taking a roll yet?
We just
Yeah, you're late.
All right.
Tardy slip.
call the roll, but approve the agenda, but we're ready for your report.
All right. I would like to report that the tennis season is just starting, and it's been a good start. We played against Fort Bragg and pretty much defeated every single person on their team except for someone who moved from a much more tennis-involved school in Kansas. And it was a great little game to start off the season with. And the scholarships are starting to come in for a lot of the local scholarship applicants. It's time to focus on that sort of thing. And that's pretty much all that's been new.
Do you want to talk, I know this is an outside school activity, but do you want to talk about your bike?
Oh, well, yeah. Yeah, I could talk about that. I'm president of our Interact Club this year, and I'm doing a project where we're sending a team of student bikers to San Francisco on a bike ride down Highway 1 to raise money for cancer research. And it was inspired by my grandpa, who used to ride the same route before he died of lung cancer. And we are getting donations through the American Cancer Society, and we have received a lot of generous donations through the listserv. We're moving forward with fundraising, and we're also moving forward with planning the event, getting it approved, and making sure all of our riders are prepared. So that's, I guess, what the update on that is. I'll be bringing it to the board probably next meeting. I imagine Eli might have mentioned that to you about getting the logistics squared away, but that's the update on how that's been going so far.
Good, thank you.
What, the route is from here to San Francisco? Or?
Yeah, from Mendocino High School, and we're going to the Golden Gate Bridge. We're doing a few overnight stops, and it'll be at campgrounds, and we're looking for a way, if some of the campgrounds that one of our planners, Eli, is looking at, if they can donate campsites to us to all stay on. So we're trying to do it in a way that we minimize costs, but we're definitely going to have places to stay either way. So, yeah.
Cool. I was going to ask, how many are on the tennis team, too?
How many on the tennis team? We can play 7. I think we have 11 or 12 people interested in playing.
Wow.
So it's a good team, yeah.
Impressive.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, Kim, we're up with you for administrative report.
All right, so I have a pretty short report for you guys. This month, I wanted to check in about our chronic absenteeism rate. And just as a reminder, you can go on to the next slide, Aaron. A student is chronically absent if they have attended less than 90% of the school year. And so I have numbers broken down by TK5, 6-8, Albion School, and Comshy School there, and then the related number of students, because that's always helpful to know as well. as the percentage. So this is something we are continually working toward. I know Jason had mentioned it last month, working with the high school some a little on a SARB process. And so we have been continuing with letters going out. We did a first round in our first quarter and did a second round about a month ago. And so that's been helpful and also challenging, I think, for some families. Getting the letter can be a little scary or concerning at times. But what I do like about it is it brings the communication. So they'll send me an email or they'll call in, because one of the things that is happening a lot recently is that families are not calling to let us know why a student is absent, and it automatically becomes an unexcused absence. So if nothing else, the stirring of communication has been good. All right, next slide. Cosmic Campin', our 8th graders spent last night in Oakland at the Chabot Space and Science Center. And it sounds like had a great time. I got to see them briefly as they started trickling in before I came up here. And I just want to thank Sage Anderson. She is the teacher who has organized this trip over the last few years. And Josh Potter ended up attending as a second staff member. So it takes a lot to, as you guys know, take kids on an overnight trip, and especially middle schoolers, I would say. And it sounds like they had a pretty successful trip, and it was tricky in a lot of ways leading up to it this year for a variety of reasons. So I'm glad that they went and had a very successful, fantastic time. So thank you, Sage and Josh, for doing that. The KAKX staff did some spring cleaning on Wednesday, and we cleaned out one of our storage sheds that has been there forever. Mark, there's probably your name on some of these materials in there. And so we decided, Jason has been poking me for a long time about this, and we've tried in various ways to have teachers get what they want to keep out. And I just decided that, you know what, we're going to go out there. Jason, order a dumpster, and we're just going to go through it. And so you need to take stuff that you want to keep. It needs to go to your classroom, and we are removing the rest. So it was a very successful afternoon. So, and everyone ended up going, that was actually a lot of fun. We were dreading this when you first mentioned it, but it ended up being helpful for everybody. And I think it felt good to do something other than sit in the library and work on teacher stuff. So that was great. Upcoming events, soccer season is underway, and we've had beautiful weather for it, so that's exciting. We have our school-wide spelling bee coming up on April 3rd at 10:40. The 6th grade is putting on a circus this year for the younger grades, and so that will happen April 16th at 10:30. And the PTO has decided to do the talent show again this year, which I'm super excited about. That's one of my favorite events, and that's happening on May 8th at 5:30. And thank you to Marshall and his crew for helping out with that as well. And then our state testing window is coming up here quickly. So we have a very large window because we have lots of grades to test. So we start toward the end of April. So we're gearing up for that. And that's all I have for you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Any questions for Kim?
All right, thanks.
There you go. Jason, we turn to you.
All right. Yeah, one of my favorite things to do is to get a dumpster. So that picture made me very happy. I can't wait to see the space. I haven't gone in it. I have to get over there. All right, so the playground at the K8 looks very different right now. The playground is gone. It's been a hurry up and wait situation with Terry Casey and the playground company. We finally got notice last week that the playground was ready to be shipped from Wisconsin on April 1st. And they say it takes about a week to get here and then 3 weeks to assemble. So we should have a playground by the end of April. I spoke with Terry, and he had some personal things to tend to and a vacation, and so we really had no choice but to take the playground out this past weekend. So the playground is gone. He still needs to come back and do a couple things before the other playground gets here. So he needs to take it down to 12 inches deep for the site work. Right now, it's just pretty much level with the rest of the ground. So the kids have a huge sandbox now. So it's kind of fun. They're actually enjoying it from what I see.
They're very worried. Someone stole the playground.
And then he still needs to take out the rubber material underneath our structure that is staying there, which is the dome structure. And so he's going to come back and do those things, I believe, the beginning of April. So that, by using Terry, it saved us $100,000. So well worth that discussion, and so I appreciate that. Wind Spirit in particular, I think that was your idea. So yeah, it's exciting, and there's nothing like having a new playground. I remember when we got the new dome structure, we had a line that felt like a mile long, kids waiting to get on that structure. So good stuff. We have business manager interviews coming up next week. We're going to interview 4 more candidates. This is our second round. And then we have music teacher interviews coming up on the 24th. And we have 2 candidates for that position. And then I just thought sometimes we just cruise right by well, we do for a good reason, the consent agenda. I just wanted to acknowledge David Sinclair with his over $5,000 worth of equipment to the Media Lab in that donation. So good stuff there.
Thanks. Is Josh here online for MTA?
I don't see him.
He's probably recovering.
And no one's for CMIS. Board trustee reports. Mark?
I really appreciated the board meeting yesterday. I think we should do more of that. I think it'd be great to have something at the beginning of the year. You're going to have at least one new board member. Getting to know teachers, some of the high school teachers I'd never seen before. And I heard a lot of interesting observations, and I found it really useful.
Nothing to report.
Wind Spirit?
I echo what Mark said. I really appreciated it. Felt like we could have spent a lot longer. I don't think in any one of my groups we got through all the questions on both sides, which is fine, but it just meant we definitely could have continued conversing. And yeah, I really appreciate it.
On the sentiment with Mark and Wind Spirit, I liked yesterday's event, so if we can do more of that with both the K-8 and the high school again, that'd be nice.
Yeah, I thought both of them were successful, and the one-to-one exchanges were very valuable. All right, we'll move on to 8.1, which is our monthly discussion on construction update.
So the water tanks project, you got a written report, and that was added to the backup. And the solar report, they were going to attend, so I see that they're not here. So maybe if they do end up hopping on, could we come back?
Sure.
But let's see.
But in a nutshell, the potable water project, they've not started quite erecting the tanks.
Yeah, Matt said that they were going to start this past week, and they had just started to do the footings on Wednesday when he was here.
Right.
So
Still lots to do.
yeah.
And the solar project here is, some of the frames are up, but none of the panels have been installed, and I know we're getting into crunch time with our deadlines, so hopefully our contractor will show up later.
Yeah, I'll try and get a hold of her.
Okay. Meg, are you ready to go on to the second interim report?
Of course I'm ready for the second interim report. Erin?
I'm
Naming-
trying. I don't know why you're.
I think she just got louder.
Try now.
How's that?
Good.
Okay. Well, this is the second interim budget report for this school year. So
This first slide is the change from second interim to first interim for revenue. So overall, our revenue is up about 192,000. Most of it is in local source revenue. We got an increase in the SPED SELPA allocation of 44,000, and then the Medi-Cal reimbursement, which is one time for prior years, is about 57,000. And then in state revenue, the CTEIG grant, we usually put the rest of it, what we apply for, into the budget at second interim because that's when we know what we're going to get. And then we also got 22,000 in learning recovery block grant. So this is how our revenue is looking. We're up about 1.75%. And this slide shows second interim expenditures as compared to first interim expenditures. Salary and benefits are down mostly on the reduction of not having had a business manager, a replacement business manager starting earlier. So now they're going to start later since we haven't hired one yet. And then we had some minor additions for the CTEIG grant in certificated salaries. Books and supplies were up mostly on CTEIG additions. Services were also CTEIG additions. And then we had an increase in the SELPA MOU of about $45,000, and that's for psych services, nursing services, and those kinds of things. And then utilities are up about $12,000. And then we had a slight increase in student services for the COMCHI music program, and then high school athletic transportation. And then transfers out were up slightly for a cafeteria. And so all told, expenditures are up about $100,000. And this is the summary of the budget. So revenues of 11.1 million, expenditures of 11.5 million, deficit spending of 309,000. We have a beginning balance of almost 3 million, ending fund balance of about 2.7 million. We maintain the 4% reserve. We have an unappropriated balance of about 1.6 million. So this next slide goes over the error that I made at first interim in the multi-year projection. And I felt, one, it was important to bring it forward because it changed what the projection was significantly, I think, over the 3-year period by about $500,000. And so what happened was we got this one-time student success block grant for 121,000, and rather than removing it in 2026, I added it in 2026, and then I left it in 2027. So it essentially doubled up each year, and it became a $500,000 error over the 3-year projection. So part of this too, in showing this, it kind of shows you how when errors are made, or if we overstate funding or we understate expenditures or something like that, and it carries over year after year, it really has a multiplying effect on the net fund balance. So again, this is why I felt it was important to bring it forward. But you can see I reported out that next year we were going to deficit spend 220,000, and it really should have been 465. 191 deficit spending in 27-28 should have been 439, and then you can see how it changes in the ending fund balance. Here in 27-28, I was reported an ending fund balance of 2.2 million, and it really should have been 1.6 million. So these things can snowball if they're not caught. So luckily, we weren't making any decisions on that budget, and hopefully I can get everything in the right place going forward. What was that?
Just want to thank you for catching it when you did and flagging it for us.
Oh, you're welcome. So this is now the multi-year projection, a condensed version of it. So I'm kind of struggling because my screen shows that I'm sharing right in the middle of the top of what I have here. Anyway, so for this first column is 25, 26, and then I did 3 years out because we're coming into beginning the budget season for 26, 27, which will include 28, 29. So the assumptions that, these are the assumptions for the multi-year projection. I maintain the 2% increase in secured property tax. I hold timber tax at 1%. I continue with the deferred maintenance transfer out of 50,000, and then hold district of choice pretty much flat. Also flat is this whole LCFF. This is our state aid, this 1.6 million. And as we get out here to 28, 29, pretty soon, this EPA portion is going to go away. And in I want to say 2031, something like that. So pretty soon that's going to be coming up where we're going to be losing some funding. Federal and state and local revenues, I reduced by one-time items, prior deferrals, and then increased by 1%. So our revenues go down next year and then just, go up slightly each year thereafter. Salaries and benefits are increased for step and column through all the years, and then the statutory benefits are increased as projected by FICMAT. Books, supplies, and services and operations are all adjusted for one-time items and then increased 2% per year for, a COLA. And after 26, 27, I don't have any, capital outlay projections. And then transfers out are mostly for cafeteria and preschool. So they're increased each year for step and column. And so on this multi-year projection, we're deficit spending in 25, 26, 309,000, 560,000 in 26, 27, 428,000 in 27, 28, and then 400,000 in 28, 29. And then this is the multi-year projection summary. And I just, I think it's kind of fun to see, I'm not saying it's fun that I made a mistake, but it's kind of fun to see the impact of the mistake. So I left it in here. So anyway, this is a summary of over the multi-year projection. And we have the fund balance of 2.9 to almost 3 million at the beginning of this year. And it looks like in 28, 29, we'll be down to 1.3 million. So we spend down about 57% of our reserves over this multi-year projection. We have an unappropriated balance goes from about 1.6 million at the end of this year to just under 500,000 in 28, 29. And then taxes, P2 taxes will be certified on April 15th. So once we get those, we can update the budget for those and see what it does to the multi-year projection. And then at Finance Committee, we went over the enrollment projections. And so for 25, 26, this number may be off from CBEDS, but I'm kind of, it's what I had at the time. So, but we have enrollment of about 407, maybe 409. So we're down about 5% from the previous year. And in this projection, it only goes back to 12, 13. But, we have more years of reductions, reduced enrollment than increased enrollment. And then if it went all the way back to, I think we thought in the 90s, Mark, the enrollment was up near 900 enrolled students. So it's kind of fascinating how it's come down. But anyway, I project it to remain going down each year. But of course that can change depending on, the number of students that we get. And then finally, I wanted to bring this forward. There's a proposed ballot measure that could affect school funding and specifically basic aid districts. So the initiative just cleared, last month cleared, so the guy can begin collecting signatures to try and get this particular initiative on the November ballot. And basically what it does is it exempts homeowners who are age 60 or older from property taxes. So these are the certain homeowners and the rules of who gets to be exempt from property taxes. But in a nutshell, property taxes in California are about $100 billion a year. And schools get a lot of that. And so if passed, they are thinking that local governments and schools could have funding cuts of between 12 and 20 billion a year. So I just wanted to make sure that, you guys all knew about it. Will it pass? I think something like this has been on the proposed initiative before, but they didn't get enough signatures to get it on the ballot. But you never know. We could get enough, this guy could get enough signatures this time. So, but as a basic aid district, I think, everybody should be aware of it. He has until October 4th to collect the close to 875,000 signatures of registered voters in order for this to make it to the November ballot. So I just wanted to put it out there so you guys knew about it. And I think that's all I have. If there's any questions.
November 2028 ballot? Or the November?
Is it November 2028? I thought it was.
Is it November
November
2028 or November 27? I think it has to be
Oh, another year?
I'm not sure. I guess 26 it could be, because we're electing a governor, right?
Yeah, I was under the impression it was 26.
26, okay.
But at any rate, regardless of what year goes on the ballot, it's not a good thing for Mendocino Unified School District if it passes. So, so then the last things are, again, certified taxes on April 15th. P2 attendance is coming up. The May revision will be coming out soon in May. And then we start looking at next year, the LCAP and budget hearing on June 4th. And then on June 9th, we adopt the LCAP and budget. I think that's all I have.
Thanks, Meg. Any questions for Meg? We have a motion to approve the second interim report.
I so move.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Oatney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Aye.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Alm,
Yes.
trustee Bloyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer.
Yes. Let's see.
Paris is here now, so after that, she's ready for her solar update.
Okay. It's not quite 5:30. Are there people online who wanted to speak for parent community comment?
I know we just have one community member in the audience.
Yeah, sure. Why don't we do that now? Anne Marie?
Good evening. My name is Anne Marie Weibel. Most of you know me. I have been a substitute teacher for 20 years for various school districts. My children graduated from Mendocino Unified, and they're both teachers now. They're 40 and 38. I haven't been here in a while, and this is amazing. I haven't seen the rest. I'm here tonight because it came to my attention that there was a survey that was sent out from the K-8 school to upcoming third graders, I believe, who would maybe possibly be bused into Mendocino and attend school in Mendocino this coming school year. If I'm wrong, I apologize. I'm concerned, just also looking at the budget, looking at your information about deferred maintenance, and part of the reason I am somewhat concerned is because I spent 8.5 years trying, together with other community members in Albion, to get an Albion elementary school, because the former school site was sold because it was not earthquake-proof, and also at the time the district believed in centralization. And I know in education things swing one way and the other, or the economy goes in one way or the other. There used to be funding that would fund these small necessary schools like Albion, Elk, and Comchi, and that is now changed. And so just based on my experience, it seemed I have some concerns that maybe down the road, some of these school sites might no longer be school sites, which could maybe happen for the Elk site unless the preschool with a different model will generate more money. I'm not knowledgeable about monies for preschools and for 3-year-olds and 4-year-olds versus money for school-age children and how that all works. So when the school board changed the formula to get money from the small necessary school formula, there was a promise that that didn't mean that these small schools would be closed down. We are at a scary time where gasoline is very expensive, and we don't know how that would influence the parents in our community. And I understand also during COVID, it was really handy to have, different sites. So it's hard to plan, I know. What I was a little concerned about with the survey is that, if I'm right, it was only handed out to parents of third graders or parents who will have a third grader this coming school year. And I know you're going to talk about that at the Elk meeting in a month from now. I just not sure if I can attend that meeting. And I was thinking that a topic that is so important to the communities should maybe be talked about in a wider audience, like that there would be a school meeting, or that there is information in the newspaper, or that people can really, for themselves, come up with what they think is the best situation, because just filling out a survey, they might not understand all the components that you guys know about, and how this would all affect how things will be carried out. I understand that you have great teachers in Albion and Comchi at the two sites that might send in some of the older kids. I understand that for them it would be almost impossible to teach 3-year-olds and third graders and everyone in between. So there may be a need for a second aid, or it just seems to me there should be a bigger conversation also from the school board in terms of the philosophy. I know the two teachers who were incredible in Comchi and Elk, who were there for years and years, Jane Corey and also Judy Staveley. They both had a degree in early childhood in addition to having a teaching credential. And it seems like that understanding is really important when you're dealing with possibly 3-year-olds and possibly third graders. So I want to just encourage you to maybe have a wider conversation before you just decide on what you think is the best thing, and have the parents and the community more informed as to how this would influence their life. Like busing would maybe be different. Maybe parents from Comchi and Albion would have to drive into Mendocino, pick up their third graders unless they want to pay for an after-school program, and then have their kids bused home with the older kids. I know my kids used to be on the bus for an hour or an hour and a half each day, and that's a lot of time spent on a bus. I understand things are different than when my children were here. We used to have 1,000 children here in the school district. Now I think you're down to 400. There probably is room in Mendocino to have more room for third graders. I don't know how the funding is for 3- and 4-year-olds. There's a lot of questions, and I hope that you open up this conversation to the communities before you make any decisions, because the survey to me seemed not really enough for parents to really have a clear idea. And so I would encourage you to open up this discussion for the community of this school district. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you, Anne Marie. Thank you. Is there anybody else for parent community comment?
I don't see anyone.
No one online? Okay. We'll go back to our 8.1 and bring in the solar contractor.
Yeah, it's our consultant, Paris Zena from NV5.
Oh, not from Centric.
Right.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me okay? Excellent. My name is Parisina. I work for NV5. We are a clean energy consultant working for the district to support Centrica's project. Currently, as of last week, all the structural columns have been successfully installed, and concrete strength testing has been passed. The project is currently on schedule and still tracking meeting the NEM2 deadline, which is the grandfathering deadline for the solar tariff. We have also put in an application for an extension to relieve some of the schedule push for the date, which is April 14th, due to PG&E transformer upgrades that will be required outside of the project but impacting it. PG&E has responded that they have accepted the request into their queue, but we have not seen their decision on that yet. We hope to in the next few weeks. Modules are beginning to be mounted, and there are several CCDs or construction changes in with DSA. One, to correct a small bolt alignment issue on the lower array. That's being corrected. They were about 1/16 of the inch off, and all of those have been approved by DSA. There's also a change related to the connection of the service, because there's a 2,000 amp breaker available. Slightly changing the plans will allow Centrica to install a breaker instead of performing a line side tap. This means that PG&E does not have to perform a shutdown for the site, which was presenting schedulers to the project, and instead Centrica can do a local shutdown. Related to this, a transformer is also being relocated to the side of the upward array, protected by bollards. This means that there's not additional conduit required into the electrical room. We'll be using existing conduit that is already there for additional time savings. Now that we are moving out of the mounting of the primary steel. The fencing and site impact is going to be reduced. Centrica is going to be submitting a new proposed construction fencing footprint this week to give the school access to some additional laydown areas in that lower parking lot that are currently blocked off. The other construction activities that are currently happening is completion of the boring up to the top array, which should be done at the beginning of next week, wiring the array and the inverters, tying in the electrical. The shutdown is scheduled for the end of next week, which will allow them to change that breaker. And at the end of this month, they should be complete with the primary wiring of the electrical, wiring of the inverters, wiring of the array, mounting the modules, and they can begin to move towards substantial completion. Any questions or more detail on any of those items?
Of the building, it's going to be
EV chargers will be installed at the front of the building, yes, but not solar. Those will be for the electric vehicles. Those are currently scheduled for March 31st, and they're tracking meeting their milestone schedule for that installation.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening.
Okay, we'll move on to 8.3, it's deferred maintenance report.
So we had some pretty big expenses this year. We had the tree cleanup, or not the tree cleanup, the tree removal over by the Performing Arts Center, and as well as the art studio. The gym floor will be, that's the resurfacing, the waxing here at the high school is in the budget. And then the fuel tank removal is on schedule to be done at the K-8 school. So those are some big expenses. It doesn't leave much in the account at the end of this year, and we will get the 50,000 back in the account next year. But we have probably 2 to 3 big projects that are in mind for this summer. One is redoing the tiling at the community high school. We redid the carpet this past year, and now we want to do the tile. Probably be a different surface, but we're going to remove the tile and put a different surface down. And then the Elk Preschool, we need to redo that floor. And then we are considering, the facilities committee met yesterday and discussed the possibility of resurfacing the K through 8 gym. The rubber surface is starting to crack in many places, and I haven't met anybody who likes that surface, that floor. So we're in the process of getting some quotes to possibly put a wood floor in there. So clearly we don't have enough money in our deferred maintenance budget to do all that, so I'm hoping that we can use some of that state money we received to do some of those projects. And going forward, I'd like to just maybe discuss the deferred maintenance budget, and maybe we, once the solar project settle, the dust clears from that project, we'll have a clear picture of what we have left in that state money, and I think we should develop a, 1, 2, and 3 year plan for that money.
And we also have we committed all the money we get from fees, the development fees?
Well, no. So we have I think we have about 400,000 in that account by the end of this year, and the majority of that's going to be used at the K-8 playground. But that we will still have this. Now that we've saved over $100,000, we could use some of that money too. Yeah, thank you.
And that increases at
Yeah.
a rate of $60,000 or $70,000
Right.
a year, right?
Right, so we might not need to dip into the state money. And our current construction worker has a lot of experience in flooring, so we could ask him to do those we can ask him to do the comm school for sure, but the one out in Elk, I think I need to find out if he's allowed to do that work out there, because if he's funded through bond money, we may have to kind of pause and pay him from a different account.
Yeah, I think that's fine. You just
is what I need to find out. Because if it's the state reimbursement money, is that directly tied to the bond?
I don't think so.
See, I didn't think so either, but I need to make sure about that.
But you've got also the development fund monies, which,
Yeah.
you know, would be enough to cover that Florida
Yeah.
project.
Yeah. That's it.
Any other questions for Jason about deferred maintenance? Anybody on the facilities committee want to chime in?
We covered our conversation pretty thoroughly. We're looking at seeing if we can find a contractor to reinstall the gazebo. Hoping
Yep.
to move on that at some point, get it off the side of the hill.
And what's happened to the wood from the water tank?
I've heard it's been used for various projects.
Yeah, it's
already
stored in the bus barn
Uh-huh.
and a little bit in the maintenance maintenance garage as well. But the K-8 has been using it for the trail system at the school, behind the school for benches. Benches are being made through it for it. So,
And we
anything
also
else?
got
Benches and-
water from the second water tank up there too, right?
Yeah.
Didn't Ruben use some of it in
Oh
repairing
yeah,
the
yeah,
rails?
and Ruben's been using it for the
PAC.
railway,
Uh-huh.
the handrail going up to the PAC. So we are using it.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a great use of that old wood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, is this something we have to approve?
I don't think so. Oh, Aaron's nodding. So
Okay,
yes.
so can I have a motion to approve the deferred maintenance report?
I so move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Otney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Alm,
Yes.
trustee Boyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer.
Yes. So we move on to the new 200-unit diploma pathway. And we got the correct backup material, but I think we also talked about putting it in perspective with our other pathways to graduation. So do you want to lead us through that, Tobin?
Yeah. So you should have in your packet, you should have our current high school, 265. You should have our current community high school, 265. You should have our legacy continuation, which is Sunrise High School, 200, and our legacy Mendocino Alternative School or Independent Study, 200. Those programs no longer exist, and so we are proposing, we still need a 200-unit diploma pathway for students that would be in IS or a continuation situation. So you should have that. You should also have the foster / alternate pathway for students that would qualify for the California Alternative Assessment. And so those are the same. The same unit breakdown for the foster and for the alternate pathway. So what we are doing is we're replacing the legacy, the old MAS and the old Sunrise 200s with the proposed new 200 unit, which reflects the fact that it's a totally different program. And we have, locally, as long as you cover the state requirements, it's up to the board to, as far as any additional requirements. So, for example, a few years ago, we added in, since our CTE, our elective program basically became a CTE program, we added in that 30-unit CTE or foreign language or performing arts, which tracks pretty well with the state as well, but that was an example of a recent change we made. So I'm happy to entertain any questions about the proposed 200. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question about the PSP/life choices. I see that it's 15 units for all of that. How is that divided up between life choices and PSP?
That is for, on which one are you looking
I'm
at?
looking at or on the new 200 unit pathway, it says PSP/life choices for 15 units required. I'm curious about how that changed, because before it was always 16 for,
Right.
yeah.
Well, this is for students who are most likely not necessarily attending the high school in a regular capacity. So they might be independent. Usually that doesn't happen until after their freshman year. So often they will have taken life choices. But there would be, basically, there is a career requirement. So they would be required to do some of the basic things, create a resume, create a cover letter, create a plan for the future, and that would account for some of those units.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah, so that, it's basically like a career. I think on the old one it was World of Work, and it was called different things on different ones. So yeah, it is a sort of a mix of those.
Is there something online that shows what the curriculum is for life choices? Or for just a general one, if not here?
We could get it, whether it's a syllabus or just from the teacher, we could get that.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
Do you want me to answer it, or is that something you'd like me to get you? I can tell you briefly the idea of the class. It's a semester class. Used to be backed up against health, but with the new ethnic studies requirement, we backed it up against ethnic studies. So half the freshman class takes life choices, half takes ethnic studies. They flip it this semester. So that was, I think, actually one of the changes we probably put in last time we changed the requirements, because that was coming down the line. So the class basically asks 3 questions. Who am I? What do I want to do? And how do I get there? And so students explore that. They do, different surveys about their skills and the type of personality that they have and what sorts of careers might match with that. They do research on those careers. They research programs that they would have to take to achieve whatever level of degree is necessary. They research colleges. So they do that freshman year. They do resume writing, cover letter writing, interview. They have to do an interview with a staff member. We pretend that we're managers at Harvest Market and they're applying for a job, and so they get to feel what that feels like to interview for a job. So they do that, and also that program's evolving because the state now has this California Colleges platform where all of those personality and interest surveys are on there, and they will plug you directly into colleges, and we get to see that gathers all the data, so we can see all the careers students are interested in. So that might dictate to us, we need to bring in some guest speakers, or if we say do that career fair with Fort Bragg, we can give them all our data and say here's what the interests that our students have. Ties right into the FAFSA and the California state colleges and UCs. So what we've been doing all along tracks almost perfectly with where the state wants us to go. So that program will be enriched through that new platform, which we're actually meeting with them, I think, on coming up real soon to go over that. In fact, maybe Monday, which is kind of a bummer. There's no school, I'll have to check that.
Is that where they develop a 4-year plan for high school?
Yeah, absolutely. It will help with that. They develop kind of a plan for the future more in that class, and with their advisors, they might develop a plan for high school. But that platform has a lot of, it has all their class information that ties in with Aries, and so it'll have all their class information, tell them if they're UC eligible, all those things, and it also has things like goal setting. So it'll really up the game, the access, where everyone will be able to see advisors, the teachers, counselors, it's a good, and the program has a lot of like top-notch support. The people running it are some of the best state agency people I've ever worked with. They're on it, and they push you to do it. They really keep you accountable. And you tell them something, and they're like, yeah, our programmers are working on that. You have like direct access to like, yeah, we need a better interface with our dual enrollment. You know, they're like, we're working on that, we're getting that up. So it's a really good system. So that's, yeah, so that's the current and future direction of that class. And then ethnic studies ties into that because a lot of that is the same thing, like who am I, who are we, who are you, you know, how do we all fit together in the structure of society? And so it's a nice, it might not seem like it, but actually goes with it pretty well because it's all about exploration.
Has that program officially been delayed, or is that, I mean, I heard that because they couldn't agree on a curriculum, that they weren't funding it, that they were perhaps not going to implement it by 2030 or 2031, whenever.
We're moving forward. It'll be ready for the incoming next year's freshmen. This year's received it as well, but next year we'll have it. And then the next thing we have to figure out is the financial literacy and what that looks like, because that's 2027, but it's for the class of 2030. I forget if it's 2030 or 31, but that most likely will be a senior level class. They get a little budgeting in the freshmen in the life choices. They have to budget out like, I want to live in San Francisco. I mean, do you? Let's see what that might look like. Or I want a 4-room, 5-bedroom house and be a cosmetologist. So they kind of look at that and say, all right, well, how much are you going to make? How much would rent be? What would the cost of living be if you wanted this? So they do some sort of like kind of reality checking in that program too.
Tobin, it's a little hard because I can't look at all these side by side by side. I'm looking at the old alternative high school, the old Sunrise, and this new proposal. They're all 200 units, correct? They're fairly similar, it seems like.
The old ones are slightly different credit.
Yeah, right, they're a little, there's a
bit
lot of
different.
similarity.
They're very, very similar. It's
Very
based
similar.
off of them, but it's.
Okay. And in our meeting yesterday, I heard a lot of feedback of requests for bringing back potentially Sunrise. If something like that were to occur, I guess, why not just rename one of these old ones? I'm just kind of curious why.
Because some of the things in there were particular to that program. So we just needed to kind of tweak a few things to match.
And so if Sunrise were to come back, what's the proposal that's in front of us now? Could that more or less become Sunrise's guidelines or not necessarily?
It depends what level it comes back. If it comes back as like a period, or a couple periods, we would probably just use this. If it came back as a full program, then we would decide probably what kind of program we wanted.
So you potentially dust off one of these old ones or bring a new one forward?
Probably bring a new one forward, just kind of keep it relevant. There were certain like world of work or certain things in there that I'd have to look at it to give you the specific examples, but minor tweaks. It's not a major change. It's just to make it a little more generic and fit the type of student that is going to be coming most likely from the high school program and going into one of those.
Any other questions for Tobin? I'll entertain a motion to adopt or accept the 200-unit pathway as proposed.
Also move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Otney?
Yes.
Trustee Morton?
Yes.
Trustee Griffin?
Yes.
Trustee Ohm?
Yes.
Trustee Boyd?
Yes.
Trustee Schaefer?
Yes. 8.5, consideration of a leave request by a certificated employee currently working 0.6 FTE and requests to work 0.8 FTE next year. Any questions about what we're doing, what's being asked? Any discussion?
Do we have a recommendation from either admin on this?
Yeah, I would recommend approving it, given our mental health needs. There was a mention in the letter about possibly 70%, but I think we should go 80% because of the need.
Do either of you have any comment on it?
I would support it.
I don't feel like I have a feeling any which way, so I would pretty much defer to administration's recommendation.
So does someone want to make a motion to approve the leave request?
I move we approve the leave requests.
I'll second.
Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Otney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Ohm,
Yes.
trustee Floyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer,
Yes. 8.6 is appointment of a board member to negotiate the superintendent's contract. Does anybody have any
Usually the
questions?
chair, right? That's what you said when I was chair. Or you just pulling my leg.
Do you want to do it again?
No?
No, I'm happy to do it. It's usually a function of the board president, but we need a formal motion to adopt that.
I'll move to appoint Michael as our negotiator.
Second.
Aaron, would you please call the roll?
student trustee Otney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Ohm,
Yes.
trustee Floyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer,
Yes. 8.7, consideration of the recycled water use agreement with MCCSD. I know that we've seen several iterations of this recently. I know, Emily, you were involved with a lot of the language. Are you satisfied with the way it exists in its final?
Yeah, I spent more time on one of the earlier iterations, but the more recent edits were pretty light, and we're focused on making sure the indemnification provisions went both ways, the insurance provisions went both ways. And yeah, Jason satisfactorily answered my question about the costs, which I didn't realize we were paying for water all this time that we got from them previously. But it sounds like the cost we'll pay for the recycled water is a little bit less than the cost we pay to create our own water. So, yeah, I'm satisfied with it.
I think
We'll use a lot more theoretically, so.
Theoretically, we'll use a lot more, so there
Which
could be an
we- which
increase
we-
in costs,
right,
but
right.
also an increase in greenery.
Correct. I was unaware of this as well.
Yeah.
for those, or to summarize, we've given an easement to the MCCSD, the sewer district, to erect a recycled water tank up next to the two tanks that are being built currently for our potable water system. They will own that tank and be responsible for its upkeep and maintenance, and they will own all the recycled water in that tank. As the water becomes used by our various sites, we'll have meters at the high school, the K-8 school, and the Friendship Park. And we will be paying a little over 9 cents, 9/10 of a cent a gallon.
Or 9 cents per 1,000 gallons.
9 cents per 1,000, yes, that's it. Or it's $9 per 1,000 gallons.
Is it $9 per 1,000?
I think it's $9 per 1,000 gallons, yeah. The contract indicates that they're planning to provide 4.1 million gallons of recycled water for our fields, which, is a lot more water than we've been using, but, we've had brown fields, and these will allow us to have green fields. That amount of water averages out to 19,100 gallons a day during the 7 months that you would think that it's not raining and you don't need an irrigation system. But it's going to be incumbent upon Jason as head of our maintenance department to make sure that we use that water effectively. And that all this effort results in some wonderful fields. Any other questions about this project? You know, it's been with us for, I want to say, 10 years, and we're finally getting to the point where they're going to be opening bids soon on the recycled water project. And when I talked to Matt Kennedy on Monday, he was indicating that he thinks that it will be in place by next April or May, so we'll be able to start irrigating in 2027 for the summer months. If there are no more questions, would someone make a motion to approve the? Sure.
So you said it's $9 per 1,000 gallons, and
A little less than a penny a gallon, yeah.
and doesn't it take like 23,000 gallons to water the field or something? And how much is that the tank out
It's like
there?
30,000 gallons. Yeah.
So it's like 23,000. So that's like it's a lot of money.
It works out to.
That might not be the right number, but
No,
we
that
did
doesn't
an
sound-
annual amount.
The annual amount was about $38,000 a
38,000,
year.
so it's not 9.
Yeah, that's,
38,000.
you're right, that's high.
It's less than the cost we are currently spending to create the water we're using now,
Well, we're not
which is about
creating
1.2. What?
Sorry.
We're not using
We're
nearly
not
as much
creating water, but to generate the water available.
To supply the water and treat the water and all that.
Deliver.
So, you know, the contract allows for annual reflections on what the costs are. And so, you know, but the price we're starting out at is less than what we paid 5 years ago when we last got reliable water from the sewer district. We've always been paying for it except when they started becoming unreliable, and they send it to us sometimes and then not be able to send it. And at that point, they stopped charging it.
And there is verbiage that says they have to self-audit their costs and adjust the rates accordingly. And I thought once I became aware that we were actually going to pay for it, and even now, just thinking about it, we, the school district and the sewer district, are both public service agencies. Sewer district covers a much smaller area, so the people paying in is much smaller, the town, basically. The school district has a much larger area, and we're funded by those taxpayers, and those ostensibly are the same families that are taking advantage of the fields. So I suppose if someone has to pay for the costs, that does seem to make more sense to me than the town folk, even though they are getting benefits as well.
I'm more questioning the gallons. Look, I think you said that tank down there is 30,000.
I think that's what I remember.
When they water the fields, I'm pretty sure they empty that tank.
I think but it takes more than one tank full.
And then they gotta fill it up.
Right.
But there's some piping that's getting redone.
So piping's going to be redone and
It's gonna be
it'll
the.
come directly from a
Yeah.
250,000 gallon tank.
Okay, but is that, so what is the total quantity of recycled?
The total quantity of water that they're anticipating to
They will
recycle.
put in addition to the other things.
So we're building two 265,000 gallon potable water tanks, and then we're building a 250,000 gallon recycled water.
I don't remember the numbers you might. There's set amounts that they're supposed to generate every day through the dry period, May through October, something like that. Because what I realized in reading it over is because it's recycled water and the state has a lot of concerns about how that's used, they don't want, for example, us just pumping more onto the field so that they're not pitching it out of the ocean, stuff like that. So there's a lot of details about how it can be used and how that all has to be recorded. It's not supposed to be overspraying, it's not supposed to be pooling anywhere, it's not supposed to be getting any facilities wet, et cetera, et cetera.
It does sound pricey when you talk about it per day of watering, it's like $270.
Yeah.
But it's like $4 million.
That's like $600 a piece.
9/10 of a cent per gallon, so you end up at $38,000.
You know, the other thing is, we had a consultant look at our fields a year or so ago, and the bottom line estimate of how much water we could use to adequately maintain our fields was over 8 million gallons.
Yeah.
So,
It's
you know.
pretty close to infinity, as I remember.
So, I mean, you know, if we end up needing more water, that potential might be there to get more water, but the 4 million figure is sort of their best guess and our best guess as to how much, you know, we'll start out. See how it goes. So,
There's no free lunch.
does someone want to make a motion?
Someone started it. Had you motioned? I thought someone started.
Thought someone did. Did someone move yet? No?
No.
I'll move to approve 8.4, I believe it is?
8.7.
8.7, thank you. 8.7.
Second?
Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Otney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Ohm,
Yes.
trustee Floyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer.
Yes. Okay, we'll move on to the 2025-26 annual transportation home-to-school plan.
This is a plan that is required on an annual basis, especially if we are going to seek funding. We don't qualify for funding right now, but Meg put this together in the event that in the future we do qualify. Pretty simple little document.
I'll move to approve the home-to-school transportation plan for 25-26.
I'll
Second.
sec-
You can have it.
I'll second it.
Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Otney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Ohm,
Yes.
trustee Floyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer.
Yes. Okay, and then we're up to 8.9, consideration and possible action on resolution 2026-01 regarding temporary certificated employee services in the amount of .438626 FTE. Should we consider all these together?
You can. Yeah, these are all positions that are currently grant funded or bond funded, which we need to temporarily reduce every year and then rehire the next year. So all the employees are aware of the situation and no one is losing their job.
So 8.9, 8.10, and 8.11 combined together. So we have 3 resolutions. Any questions or comments?
I'll move to approve 8.9 through 8.11.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Aaron, would you please call the roll?
Student trustee Otney,
Yes.
trustee Morton,
Yes.
trustee Griffin,
Yes.
trustee Ohm,
Yes.
trustee Floyd,
Yes.
trustee Schaefer.
Yes. So that brings us to 8.12, which is board policies, information only, response to immigration enforcement. And this updates us.
So we've never had this policy, so this
Uh-huh.
is a brand new policy that I learned that we need to have in place by March. So we're a couple of months late, but this is the CSBA recommended policy. It's a lot. There's a lot in there. It's your first look at it. So if you want to make some changes, we can do that at the first reading. I think I need to take a closer look to see if anything doesn't apply to us, but we just decided to put the recommended policy forward.
We don't live in Minnesota, but who knows what's going to happen in the next year. There hasn't been much activity in a lot of California. My question is, have teachers been trained or are they going to be trained on this policy?
Well, they haven't been trained on this policy, but we did send out a kind of a one-pager at the beginning of the year that said, you know, if you are approached by an immigration officer, then to contact me or the principals, and then we are supposed to look for a specific type of warrant before we allowed any access, and so we did do that. But sure, definitely, we can do more training as we adopt this policy and as a refresher at the beginning of the year next year.
I mean, it would be a concern to me that that nobody get into a problematic situation that's dangerous or confusing, given the fact that there have been warrants that weren't judicial.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. And I mean, in reading through this stuff, it's clear that you're not supposed to allow them to enter school buses and so on, but you also don't resist if they seem to be doing something illegal.
I saw that too, so it's kind of like, yeah.
So I'd just like to know that everybody is really aware of this. You know,
Yeah, I
and what
think
to do.
we'll have to maybe just break this policy down a little bit and make it a little more readable and understandable in a different format for the training.
So this is, it'll come back to us next month for first reading. So if you do come up with questions, forward them to Jason and he will address them before that. Our next meeting will be in Elk at the Greenwood School on April 23rd. Are there anything else that we want to consider for agenda items that we don't already have on the hopper?
Emily, did Eli actually, did you guys talk about
Gosh, no,
that?
he doesn't talk to me.
He does, okay.
That's the first I
I
heard of it.
figured that was the case, but.
Feel free to.
Okay, this is something, we're still working out the logistics with Diana, but for the bike ride, of course, we have to verify that this is going to be a safe procedure, and it'll have to come before the board. And we wanted to, Diana and Eli and I, between us, we were going to prepare that for the next board meeting to present it. That was Diana's plan, and I'm bringing it up to you now for that, but it would be great to try to get that on the agenda if
We
possible.
usually approve the dangerous AE week trips and such as sort of
We've
a
already
part of
done
our
that.
insurance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The dangerous things, so I wonder if we can kind of add this on
Right, so we want to
to that concept.
carve out an additional
Activity. on a different
activity.
date.
Well, so we've already approved the AE week trips with the higher risk, but so you're saying we just do that
But we have to have a agenda item
to
make that, I guess, a sponsored activity.
Yeah.
And therefore would fall under
Yeah, we can do that.
our insurance.
When are you guys planning to go?
It's going to be Memorial Day weekend in May, so May 22nd off the top of my head, I think.
So our April meeting should be fine.
Yeah.
And how many riders so far?
It's going to be, let me see, I think it'll be seven or eight, depending on if one is fully committed or not. And I finished collecting bikes. I've worked with a lot of local people to get bikes to one avid road biker's house, and we have them all stored there, and we're kind of getting them to the students to practice. So, yeah, I guess that's what's going on with that. Yeah.
Good. Very impressive.
Okay, so we're adjourned.
I will not be joining you on the ride.
Oh, you're not?
3 days max, or how many days?
Yeah, so it'll be 3 days.